Hello there guys, and welcome to this X-Plane 11 video and FSElite's first look at the FlyJSim 727 version 3 professional series. In this first look video, we are going to be taking a look at what has changed in this beautiful aircraft since version 2. We're going to be examining the 3D modeling, the texture work, and the aircraft systems. We're then going to start the aircraft from a cold and dark state, take off, fly around in the airport vicinity. The Boeing 727 was an aircraft of choice during the 1960s, and the FlyJSim rendition of this beautiful aircraft takes you back to the golden era to experience this aircraft at its best in a flight simulation platform. The FlyJSim 727 version 3 has been upgraded to take advantage of the latest available technologies in X-Plane 11, including the flight model and PBR, or physically based rendering. As you can see, the final rendition of the aircraft is an authentic and exquisite replica of the real 727. Other upgrades to the aircraft include, but not limited to, a new pressurization system, a reworked maintenance and failures system. For a full list of all the changes in this version of the aircraft, please see the video description. The new version of the 727 comes in 3 trims, the 727F, 100, and 200 Advanced. The 3D cockpit has been carefully crafted to let you experience nostalgia at its best with this 727. As you can see, the aircraft 3D cockpit textures have been completely reworked to take advantage of X-Plane 11's PBR technology. The instrument reflections, the detailed panel work, as we can see here on the central pedestal, the trim wheel, the reflection of the instruments, the really detailed textures all add up to a phenomenal experience in the 727. Really great work in the texture department, 3D modeling, really a beautiful rendition of the aircraft inside and out. Following the success of the FlyJSim 737 control panel, a similar control panel has been fitted into the 727, giving you access to some useful features to help manage the aircraft, including your takeoff and landing data, and now you can set the bugs simply by clicking here. The weight and balance window, where you can set up everything related to the aircraft fuel, passengers, and cargo, and take a look at the center of gravity to make sure that you are within safe limits before takeoff and landing. The options window, the control panel, gives you the ability to manipulate the field of view, interior and exterior sounds, navigational system, GPU and air carts, as well as other options, as you can see here, including changing the weight displayed from imperial to metric, which is very useful. Now, as far as the nav system is concerned, there are 3 navigational systems you can use with this aircraft, and FlyJSim has really put in a lot of work to really cater for beginners as well as experts. So if you want to fly VR to VR, you simply select no navigation system, and this is where you're going to basically key in the VR stations in the nav radio and navigate to it that way. I have several videos on VR to VR navigation. The other option is to use the built-in X-Plane 11 FMS, and this option is probably for those of you who are just beginning to learn the 727 and how to fly the 727. Of course, when you use this option, the autopilot operation is a bit different. So when you are using VR to VR navigation, you're going to use the nav lock here. When you are using the FMS, you're going to use auxiliary nav. I will be doing a detailed tutorial of this aircraft in the coming weeks on my channel, so stay tuned for that. And of course, the last option is the CIVA. I don't have the CIVA installed at the moment, but the CIVA INS is the inertial navigational system. If you really want to push your skills to the limit, then I highly recommend that you get the CIVA INS. It is not a very complicated system, but it does require a learning curve to get familiar with how it operates, and there are some limitations as far as the waypoints. I believe the maximum number of waypoints is about 10. There are of course workarounds to that, but again, if you want to experience this aircraft as it used to be back in the 1960s, I highly recommend the CIVA INS. For increased challenge and realism, in addition to the CIVA INS or VOR to VOR navigation, this 727 has been fitted with a maintenance system that, when turned on, will turn on the failure system. In this mode, the aircraft airframe, engines, and APU will tear and wear with use of the aircraft, and you will have to check the aircraft report to make sure that the aircraft parts are operational per design intent. Last but not least, a well-integrated checklist is available to help you manage the aircraft according to real-world procedures. The FlyJSim 727 version 3 professional series comes with 4 manuals, a series manual, procedures, maneuvers, and a systems manual to help you manage the aircraft and really learn all about the 727. We are now going to start the aircraft from a cold and dark state. We're going to push back using better pushback, which is, by the way, fully compatible with the 727. We're going to taxi to the runway and take off. Okay, first thing first is battery on, and the sounds, by the way, are FMOD sounds, and FlyJSim has again put in a lot of work to create very, very immersive sound set for this aircraft. Let's go ahead and we can check the fire test here, reset. We can also do the engine fire test here. All checks okay, and we can now start the APU, and we're going to put it on the on position and hold it for about 3 seconds. And we can release it now, and we're just going to wait for the APU to become available. All right, let's go ahead and turn on the APU generator, and now we've established electrical power to the aircraft. We're going to go ahead and turn on the fuel pumps. And by the way, I'm not following any particular checklist here, as this is a first look video. There will be, again, a detailed tutorial on my channel probably in a couple of weeks' time. Okay, and we're going to turn on the hydraulic B system. And everything here checks okay. All right, we're going to head over to the overhead panel. And let's see here. We have the emergency lights can be armed. There are a few tests here that we can perform. I'm going to skip that for now. Window heat is on. And let's see here. Everything here is fine. Non-smoking sign. Fasten seatbelt signs are on. We're going to turn on the beacon, and we are pretty much ready now to start the aircraft. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call the pushback truck. So we're going to come here and better pushback, start pushback.
Cockpit, please show me where you want to go.
You know, I have no clue where I want to go, but you know what? Let's just put the aircraft in this position here. That looks good.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Okay, so the tow is driving up. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and open the guard here. And we're now ready to start the aircraft. Yep, everything looks good. While the pushback truck is setting things up for us, a couple of things I want to show you which I thought are very neat. The speed brake can be armed by clicking this area here. So the speed brake is now armed, and now it's disarmed. And you can set the trim, the stab trim, simply by clicking on this green area here. Isn't that cool?
Release parking brake.
All right, let's release the parking brake.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
All right, and we have our clearance to start the engines. So let's head back over to the overhead panel. I'm going to start the engine number 3 first. All right, that's good enough. All right, and let's go ahead and start the engine number 2. And again, we're going to watch for about 20% of N2 before we turn on the fuel. All right, and engine number 2. Beautiful sounds, really. Everything, the sounds on the knobs, the switches, the levers, everything has been really modeled with perfection. All right, and we can start the engine number 1. Alright, we can disconnect the tow now. And if we look here, engine number 1 is about to stabilize. What we can do at this point, we're going to head over again to the overhead panel. We're going to turn on the pitos. And let's see here, we're going to turn on the taxi lights, runway turn off lights.
Disconnected, and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. Well, see you next time and have a safe flight.
Okay, well, we don't need the logo lights. Alright, so let's come over here to the engineer station. And we're going to turn these on. Bus ties are now on. And we can set the... let's see here. This one goes to generator 1 or 2. And let's see here. All is good. We can turn on the galley powers now. And we can turn off the engine bleeds number 2. Okay, and now we no longer need the APU. Okay, we're pretty much good to go now, and everything is good. We're going to set flaps 5, or actually we're going to set flaps 15 or 20. We're going to set flaps 20 for takeoff. Let's see, yep, flaps 20. Alright, and that is set, and we can now release the parking brake and head to the runway. We're going to say set bugs here, and we can now taxi to the runway. Alright, release parking brake, and let's go. By the way, what I've noticed during the past few days is the weight imbalance actually affects the way this aircraft the ground handling of the aircraft differs a lot when, for example, the aircraft has full passengers or full fuel and cargo, and where you place the cargo also affects how the aircraft steering is handled on the ground. Now with the 727, we need to be very careful with the throttles. We could longer periods at maximum power could very quickly burn the engines. Alright, we're approaching the runway now. We're going to turn on the landing lights. Taxi light can go off. Strobe can go on. And we are now ready for takeoff.
28 left.
Right, flaps are set, everything looks good, and let's go. Check.
B1, rotate.
Positive rate of climb, and gear is going up. This is again a beautiful scene of the aircraft, 3D cockpit during dusk. As you can see, the lighting is done very well. Let's see here. There we go. Very nice night lighting inside the 3D cockpit. Well, folks, my concluding remarks on this first look of the FlyJSim Boeing 727 version 3 professional series is that it is by far the most immersive, authentic, and well-documented 727 ever built for a flight simulation platform. I hope that this was an insightful first look. If you have any questions, as usual, please do post them in the comments section below. I will try to answer them as soon as I can. Watch out for my full tutorial of this aircraft on my channel in a couple of weeks' time. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all very soon. On behalf of the entire FSElite team and for myself, Kuwait Pilot, thank you for watching this video, and bye-bye for now.